It is May the 7th, 2021. I'm Andy, and this is the Minorcan Mullet Report from the Golden Ray Rec site in St. Simons Sound. And we'll start off today with a video that was posted on the St. Simons Unified Command's website, the incident response website, which we have a link to down below in the description. And this is video that they released last night that they announced on there that they had started cutting on Section 3 of the Golden Ray, and looks like they were just getting started at about as the sun was going down. So this was after we made our trip out yesterday. They got started. Then they may have engaged in some chain shortening activity. Obviously the sun has gone down. This is a little bit later on as that chain began to work up the boat. You can see it's starting to make progress into the hull. And that is good news from the site. So today, out on the site, and wow, it was a brilliant blue day out on the site. Now I'll tell you, the wind was blowing. The wind was howling. It was out of the west, probably a steady 15-knot wind with gusts up to 30. Some really big swells out there. I mean, maybe 3 or 4 foot swells. Pretty rough day. It's hard to tell from the video because we do have some pretty good stabilization equipment now. And yeah, it was pretty rough out there today. But we got some shots of what was going on. We didn't actually see any cutting. The chains really weren't moving when we were out today. That's not to say that they're not cutting. It could be, we've seen periodically, especially after they initially get started, you'll have times where they're down for a little bit while they're checking to see how the chain's progressing, how it's moving through the structure of the ship. Very well could have been one of those times when we were out there. But it's obvious that they are making progress. And, you know, I guess we'll have to put up another poll as to see just how long folks think this cut is going to take. Now, if you remember when Section 2 was cut, it was maybe 8-9 days on that cut. We expect something similar, may even be quicker on these midsection cuts of the Golden Ray. We don't think they're going to have near the structural problems that they had, especially with that doggone Section 7. That's that section that gave them so much trouble. This last cut that they made, but we think these are going to be a lot easier and move a lot quicker. And yeah, y'all can really see, you can kind of see what that sea looked like today out in the sound. And believe it or not, this actually looks docile compared to what it was like. The boat was really pitching. It was a pretty wild ride out there today, just trying to get around the site. We would have liked to have got off the forward end of the Golden Ray, but it was about all we could stand to make one quick pass today and then try to get back in just for safety concerns. It was pretty heavy out there today. But the part that we did get to see with the chains tight, and we know just from looking at that Unified Command's release video that we had up earlier here, they're making progress, and we expect this to continue on at a good place. You know, they've got that R5 chain in place. That's what they're starting to cut with. So hopefully we won't see any breaks on the chain, and things will just progress along nicely. Now, we did get a shot today. If you look just to the right of the block there, the cutting block, you can see that stream of water, and that water is coming out to help cool that block. And most of the time when we see it, it's kind of running down the hull of the ship. That water, as that cooling water is coming down, we'll see it on the hull. But the pumps were up running, and so that's, to us, the indicator that they're cutting. Didn't see a lot of other activity out there. Again, environmental boats, or maybe one or two we saw out there, but it's just not a good day out for a small boat. Surprised that we didn't hear of a small craft advisory just because of the swell that was out here. It was pretty nasty conditions. But as we got around and kind of looked into the ship, we could see what kind of success the grapple had yesterday in removing those vehicles that it could get to. And we've got some close-ups in there where you can see they were pretty doggone efficient again today, or yesterday, when they were pulling those cars out of the Golden Ray and putting them on the barge. It looks like they got quite a few out of there. And that is always a good sign. Anything they can get out is welcomed. The less load that's on the ship is going to make it easier for them to pick up. In addition to, you're helping to reduce those environmental concerns that could be associated with something leaking out of a car or being damaged and falling into the sound. Anytime that we see those cars coming off the ship, it's a good day. And here we can kind of see in there, and you can see that they got a lot of those vehicles that were there along the edge, as far in as they could reach. They were getting those cars out of there. We're not sure if they'll be back to get some more. It looks like they got them out of there pretty doggone deep. It'll remain to see. We shall see what happens. If they do come back, we'll certainly try to get that for you guys. But it looked like they were pretty successful in those operations to get those vehicles out of there. Again, as we kind of go by, you can kind of look and you can see that daylight right through the Golden Ray, and that's become we're seeing more of it because more of the cars, more of the vehicles are being removed as these sections come out. And again, that is a good thing to see. A few more shots. This is the offshore side of the Golden Ray. And again, this block has a water hose on it as well. It's a little harder to see because it's more of an angle at the ship, but they're cooling these blocks as well. And the ship is starting to shorten up. That is a beautiful sight for those of us that have been looking at this thing since the September of the 8th, 2019, when it rolled over in the Sound. Well, hey, that's going to do it for the report today. I'd like to thank you for joining us. And we're going to ask you, if you haven't done it, click on that subscribe link. We're not going to charge you a thing for it. Just do it for us. Hey, send us some comments. Most of all, we want you guys to stay safe out there.